Hi, everyone. I believe we are going live. Just give us a second here to just make sure everything's showing up properly. And I see us there. So hello, everybody, and welcome to Speaker Chat. Today, I'm very excited to be learning about relationships with money and why that is important and how we can change those relationships and how they can affect us and so forth. So today, Leslie Juvin-Acker is going to be here with us and is going to be sharing her wisdom along with she's going to give you some takeaways. So we're going to talk about our financial relationships, how we think and feel, our subconscious beliefs and how they create that financial experience, and how we can reprogram in 7 simple steps. Thank you so much for joining us, Leslie.
Well, thanks for having me, Tracy, and thank you for pronouncing my name correctly.
I was trying really hard.
You did it.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yes, we're so thrilled that you're able to join us today. I know that we had some stuff that happened last week. We weren't able to get on with our speaker chat, but I'm so happy that you were able to join us today. So thank you so much for coming.
Well, thank you.
And what I want to start with is just a little bit of your bio, and then we're going to kind of start to go into the questions. Now, if you are watching this on Facebook Live with us live right now, just let us know that where you're from. Just put a message into the comments. And if you're watching this later on the recording, still go ahead and let us know where you are. We'd love to know where our audience is hanging out right now. So Leslie is the president and chief happiness officer, and I love that, of Leslie Inc., a management consulting company that teaches emotional intelligence skills to drive productivity and organizational harmony. Leslie grew up as part of the working poor in a Habitat for Humanity home. Her mother is a former child prostitute. She is a survivor of domestic violence and postpartum depression and anxiety. Leslie is a gifted intuitive. And since 2008, Leslie has helped more than 30,000 professionals advance their careers and increase their net worth as a career and executive coach. And Leslie's just written a book that is out there, and we're going to talk a little bit about that throughout this as well. So thank you so much again, like I said, for joining us. We want to know. I mean, there's so many. We all have stories, and there's reasons why maybe we're not friends with our money. And I think it's such an important topic, especially these days. So let's start with the first question. Now,
Sure.
you have you say in the money formula. Money formula is your new book, The Money Formula, that you had a shameful secret. What inspired you to write The Money Formula?
Well, Tracy, my shameful secret was that I was helping everyone, my husband, my friends, my clients get rich and help them make more money, and sometimes negotiating salary increases as much as $70,000 in one conversation, and helping people advance their careers. And that was great, but my secret was that I wasn't doing it for myself. No matter how much or how hard I worked, I wasn't able to break a financial threshold. And there are a lot of professionals out there who have that shameful secret as well. And I had been doing that for almost 8 years and wondering why on earth was I not being able to break through that financial barrier for myself. And it wasn't until I started to take a hard, good look at myself and start to use the tips and techniques that I was using on my clients to help them get rid of a lot of debt, financial, emotional baggage, that I stumbled upon the creation of the money formula. And when I did the money formula, it awakened inside of me this realization that I had a lot of limiting beliefs about money. And I'm sure we all know that we do, but I was able to get to the source of my limiting beliefs and break through them and completely change my financial story.
I think a lot of people can relate to what you're saying about doing it for everybody else. And it's like, you know, we think we want to help everybody else, and that's part of maybe what some of us do, but ultimately we have to help ourselves and we can help them more, right? It's kind of like as a mother in a family, if you take care of yourself, you can take care of your family in an even better way. So same thing with this, I would think.
Yeah, I think the appropriate name for that is caregiver syndrome.
Yeah.
We're always taking care of everybody else and helping them go along the way, and we're using our skills to help them. But then there comes a point where we realize, like, okay, I feel like a fraud, and I feel like I'm helping everybody else and I'm not getting ahead myself, and I'm telling this wonderful story. And in my mind, it was real for everyone else, but it wasn't real for me. And what I discovered by using the money formula, and it's very simple 7-step protocol that takes you through questions that ask you to analyze your first thought and first feeling about the word money and every word in the financial dictionary, like mortgage, college debt, divorce, alimony, car payment, loans, and examine how we feel about these words. And most of the time, we avoid acknowledging how we feel about these things. And we find ourselves in repeating self sabotaging behavior when it comes to money. And I realized that it is possible to break those self sabotaging behaviors and beliefs.
Well, that's kind of what we're moving on to the next question. It's like, in your opinion, what do you think the number one conflict people have with regards to money?
With that being said, it's very simple. It's how you think about money and how you feel about money. And all of us have vision boards, and we have these ideas of getting our kids into college and paying for private school, which I have for 2 kids, and getting that brand new car and a big house and all of these things. And we aspire to so much. But then there's how we feel. And how we feel generally is ashamed or guilty or burden or afraid. And when we feel those things, we don't confront all the challenges that keep us between what we want and what we have. And we seek to reconcile that conflict between how we think and how we feel to get those in a synchronistic pattern so you can start acting on all those things that you want.
So if you don't acknowledge what your feelings are, especially if they're a negative feeling towards it, then you can't really make any changes to alleviate that and sort of break through to having a positive relationship.
Absolutely. I think we all make resolutions and we all want change. But how do we get that change? And the change isn't just about putting goals, it's about emotionally resolving the trauma or even just the beliefs that we've picked up from our parents or our caretakers along the way that we've used to shape our model of the world. And when we take that apart and we realize that our story is not our story. It's the story that we got from our parents and loved ones and caretakers, and begin to realize that life is our own creation and that what we choose is possible. Then we're no longer a slave to those beliefs from yesterday.
Yeah. I think it's something that I'm looking actually at some of our people that are joining us. I just want to quickly say hello to Nicole from Vancouver, Washington, and Sonia from Central Ohio. And ladies, does any of this resonate with you? Do you, when you talk about mortgage, loans, line of credit cards, what kind of feelings do you have? We'd love for you to share that in the comments, and we'll come back and talk to you a little bit more about that in a few minutes. So what results have you witnessed as a result of the money formula being applied? So is it, do you have a specific story that maybe you could share with us?
Sure, I could tell you a case study from the book. And one of my favorite case studies is about a married couple. And this is about a man, he's an engineer, and his wife. And his name is Albert. And I talked to Albert about his first thoughts and feelings of money. And his wife was sitting in the room, and he was kind of trying to avoid acknowledging his thoughts and feelings because he didn't want her to judge him. And I said, look, if you're going to do this, you got to be spontaneous. You got to just give me your first thoughts, your first feelings. So Albert told me that his very first thought in his memory actually was it was knowing that money is not important in the grand scheme of things, but you need it. And I asked him to go into that feeling, and the feeling was out of control. And then going through the money formula protocol, I asked him to go to the earliest memory. And for him, he had this memory of when he was 4 years old, and his father was a successful doctor, and he had a big home and a tennis court and a sports car, an antique sports car. And he's 4 years old. He climbs into the sports car. His dad says, "Don't touch anything." Of course, he's going to touch something. And he releases the e-brake, and the car starts to roll back. And Albert feels out of control. And immediately his dad comes in to save the day, and he feels like, oh, I've done something wrong. I was having fun, but I've done something wrong. And what we've discovered by completing the money formula was that he felt like a little boy who wanted to have fun with his money, and yet he felt out of control. So he needed someone to fulfill the role as the caretaker, the dad, or the bad guy. And that person was his wife. And his wife was like, "I don't want to play that role. It stresses me out," because every single time Albert wanted something, he had to email his wife and ask for permission first.
Oh my goodness.
And that stressed her out. And she said, "I don't want to play that role." But we create these financial roles in our life. And I said, "You're an adult now. You're in control. You can make good decisions. He doesn't have any bad financial issues going on. He makes good money as an engineer." And I said, "Can you make these decisions on your own?" And it was like this light bulb in his head. And he's like, "Yeah, I can do that." And it was that time where it alleviated the burden from his wife. And what that did was improve his own relationship with his wife. But it also gave him the confidence within himself to make healthy financial decisions without playing those roles that he picked up along the way. And the thing about the money formula is that some of these beliefs and these memories don't necessarily come from moments about money. They could just be moments from our childhood that we become acutely aware of, and they shape our view of things. And after that, Albert was able to relieve his wife of that burden, and she was able to feel freer, and he was actually able to do some really nice home projects that made everybody happy. So I find that the money formula is a great tool, but it really can shape your relationship with your spouse, your partner, even your children, and the way that you see yourself and how you react and relate to money in financial situations.
So just being able to go through that formula can help with all aspects of all relationships. Your
Yes.
relationship with your business as well, and business partners, and but definitely, a lot of people would experience that husband wife thing. I bet
Yes.
you nonstop, right? Because it is, it's like, sometimes it's easier to just kind of fall into whatever that pattern might be. And you'd mentioned it before, if you don't address it, then you can't change it.
Exactly.
So that's a great takeaway for me so far today.
Yes.
Is just addressing it.
Mm-hmm.
Not being too scared to address it.
Well, it really is about acknowledging those behaviors. And sometimes we're not even conscious of those behaviors. And more importantly, we're not even conscious of our beliefs. And the goal of the money formula is to awaken you to what those behaviors are, those relationship dynamics, and then help you in a gentle way, acknowledge them and let them go, so you can start making decisions that are truly empowering what your heart truly desires.
I love that you said in a gentle way, because you don't want to be doing this in a way that's going to cause a different negative, like, trade one negative for another. And if it's, which I'm sure for some people that happens as well. So.
Well, the thing is that, as somebody, as myself, I'm a hypnotherapist and an energy psychology practitioner. I've been a coach for over 10 years now. And yeah, there are adverse reactions to types of protocols. But the thing about this is that one of the last steps is to replace it with something positive, and put something in there that will affirm you, and that will give you the courage and the hope and the confidence to start making decisions that are going to affirm what you really want out of life, and get that for yourself. And that really is, the money formula is a tool for living an authentic life.
Yes, it's great. I'm looking at a comment here, sorry. Nicole says, "Me too, love that. Our words can cut."
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We don't even realize the power of words. And where do we get the meaning of our words? It's beyond the dictionary. It comes from very, very early in our childhood, and we're formed by that. And they say, give me a child between 0 and 7, I'll give you the man. And it's very important for us to acknowledge, where are we getting those beliefs? Why do we believe the things that we do? And more importantly, how are our behaviors shaped by them?
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely is just being, it is a mindset, and knowing that we can change it, I think it's important, but we have to address where we're at and where we want to go.
That's
Ultimately.
right. You're so right. It's about starting where you are and then acknowledging those feelings and thoughts, getting to the root of it, clear it out, and replace it with something better.
Mhm. Wonderful. Gonna have to take action after this.
Yes, that's the goal.
Who else is going to take action with me? Definitely put a yes into the comments for us.
Just say preach.
Yeah.
Or amen.
Amen. That's me. I'm ready. Okay, so what is one major takeaway that you want the readers of this book to have? Like, what is the big lesson to learn?
Is that you're ultimately the creator of your reality. And I know that sounds so new age and The Secret and all of that, but it really is like, take a look at what you think and what you feel about money, because we need money to survive. We need money to do the things that we want to do, but money isn't the only resource out there. And the money formula is here to remind you that you have way more resources within you and around you than you even realize. But because we approach our life on such a limited basis, and we judge through a metric of success, the amount of money we have in the bank account, we limit ourselves and the choices that we could possibly make, or the asks that we could ask. And what the money formula seeks to do is to remind you of the resources within yourself to change how you think and feel about money. And more importantly, to encourage you to see how wealthy you are as a person, and that, you know what, you don't really need as much as you need to start, but as long as you start leveraging what you have around you and apply the principles that are in the book and apply the steps, you're going to see in this very easy to read 3-hour book. I wrote it short so that way it's fast to get through, that this is a tool that will help you begin to break free from any of those burdens that you're experiencing along the way of achieving your goals.
And I can see how, you talk about like what you have, the resources that are already within you. And I love that you're saying that really we have everything we need to have a successful relationship with money, and therefore successful relationships everywhere. We actually have it within us. It's just a matter of having your formula to acknowledge it, be aware, and take those next steps.
Yes, absolutely. That is exactly the right way to look at it.
Yay. I got it.
You did it.
Yeah, no, and it's one of those things, you're talking about new age and so forth, but I know that, just exposure that I've had to different things over probably the last couple of years, but, everything from like, you know, understanding the energy around you, understanding the power of words, or how you can take, I always say, if I'm get into that rut, I'll start to sing a song, because if I'm singing a happy song, I can't stay in that rut. So you can choose to make choose to make a choice, really, right?
Exactly. When I was experiencing postpartum depression, I felt as if there was nothing ahead of me. I felt as if my future was a brick wall. And the thing that kept me going was staying present in the moment and realizing that I had a choice. And that even if I felt like there was no hope for the future, that I was worthless, and that my new baby didn't have a mother who felt good and felt happy, that I could get up and I could take care of myself. I could get up and love her through these feelings of hopelessness. And that's the kind of thing where you have this active choice to get you through that. And sometimes, again, we're not aware of what is holding us back. We are not aware of the feelings because we've repressed them so much, or that we've hidden them away because we've been traumatized or we've experienced loss. And this is to get you through that. The money formula is a tool to get you through those areas where you can't necessarily see, those blind spots,
Mhm.
and to help you begin making those choices that affirm you, not the life you think everybody else thinks you need to live, not the life your family expects for you, but the one that's right for you. And that life is the most abundant one.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you very much for sharing it and putting it in that way, because it
Thank
is
you.
important that, you know, it is important that it's about us, that we feel right, and not having other people put their things on you is definitely important. I mean, they're going to anyway, but being able to kind of just go, okay, where do I sit with this? What do I want? What makes me feel, like you said, you're wealthy may not be, it may be something different to everybody.
Yes,
So,
it is. It's so true. And my vision of wealth might be completely different. And I don't know if I need as much as $1 billion. And I definitely don't need, a little bit of money. I need some money, but it's really about knowing what's important for you. What is your definition of wealth? And the money formula does not define that for anyone. It says wealth is really something that you define and you figure out for yourself, but you got to have that conversation to start and explore what that means, and to start feeling good about everything you already have. And I grew up very poor. My parents worked 60 hours a week. My dad was a cable technician and a prison guard, and and we didn't make a lot of money. But you have to start looking at what you got around you, and sometimes that just might be good relationships, and that is considered something of great wealth, and it's a treasure to have people who love you and look out for you. So if you can start looking out for those things, you can already start to feel those feelings of wealth and start leveraging them.
mhm. Yeah, acknowledging what you're grateful for in every circumstance.
Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah, definitely takes you to that next level. And you and I we did a little bit of chatting before we went live, and we're talking about what is really important, especially we're talking to women speakers right now. What's really important for them to change their relationship with money, and really help them succeed in whatever it is whatever their desire is to achieve.
Well, as we were talking about, Tracey, in the pre-show conversation, was is that ladies, you got to do your numbers. And so many of us feel intimidated by doing our numbers. How much does it cost for us to live? Because we start looking at all the things, are dead or whatever. And we're like, I don't even want to look. I don't want to look at my books. I don't want to look at my finances, but you got to do your numbers. And if you feel intimidated or afraid of doing those numbers, do the money formula first, break through that, and start to do those numbers and calculate those numbers. Because when you figure out what your numbers are and you know what it takes for you to survive and pay your bills and be happy, and then figure in the cost of showing up to a speaking engagement, the travel fees, and all of those things, you're going to know what your baseline number is that you're going to need an hour or whatever it takes to produce you to go to a speaking event. And it's so important to do those numbers. And then you can start having conversations and say, look, this is what it takes for me to get here. And if you can't cover that, then you're going to have to provide me equal value in another way, or it's just not worth it for me. And that's something that a lot of us women speakers have to have that conversation, and the confidence to walk away from opportunities that may not be profitable.
Right, and doing those numbers allows you to, your value. I mean, you're every woman out there that has something to share as far as a message. Your value is so much more than you may give yourself credit for. And being able to walk away is probably the scariest thing, and asking for what you're worth.
Yes.
Because, once again, it comes down to, oh, maybe in your past life, there might have been something that's really, stuck with you, that you can't ask for more. It's like you always have to undercut. But at the same time, you know, understanding your numbers is going to allow you to go like, okay, it's not even that I'm asking for more than I'm worth. I'm asking for what I need in order for me to go out there and help other people and still help myself.
Exactly. I mean, you look at Mother Teresa, I mean, she had $1 billion backing her up in everything that she did because she had the courage to ask for it. She had the Catholic Church's support. And we got to think about this. We all may be saints in some way, but we cannot be living like we don't have any money, like it's not holy to have money, and it's not holy to be a helper. And there's many of us who think that it's unethical to take money to speak and to encourage. But girl, you got bills to pay, you got kids with shoes that you got to buy, and there are things that need to get done. And it's a dichotomy where a lot of women are feel like they can't ask for that, where men can. And it's about getting women to feel like they can ask for those things and to provide for their families, and that it's perfectly reasonable and understandable to make your ends meet, but also make a little money on the side so that way you can start planning for the future.
Exactly. I love that. And I'm reading some of the comments too. Someone, Lisa, was saying, know what it takes to leave your part-time job. So yeah, great. Like, right, you need to look at your numbers. What can you do to leave your part-time job? Nicole says, know your value and don't forget about your tip.
Yes.
Yeah, I love it. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, it's so important. It really is. It's really important for people to read your book. There's always, we can all hear what we need to be doing from several people, but one person, it's going to just click, right? So always take that opportunity to see whether this is the right fit for you, and whether whether it's going to resonate with you, because I really think it will. I'm sorry, I'm laughing because my rim light is just disappeared. So I'm in the dark.
That's all right.
Wonder why my light's going out. It's not because my energy's going out at all. It's
I love it.
So let's go on to, so what is the Women's Financial Freedom Tour and how can people get involved? I'd love to know more about this.
So the Women's Financial Freedom Tour, as you see our logo behind us, is a way for us to reach out to women across the country. We're here in America, and we're starting here locally in North County, San Diego, and we've already had 6 stops, and we already have more coming up in the new year, to reach women, to have a real conversation about money, all of those limiting beliefs that we've experienced, cultural beliefs. If you're, I'm part Asian, or if you're part Hispanic, or if you have a different background, there's different beliefs that we take from our cultures that influence us as well, and we take those away. And if you're in a marriage or a partnership, well, our paradigms about what partnership should look like, they define our relationship with money. For me, for a long time, I believed, because I grew up this way, that moms only work part-time and they only make supplemental money and they don't make as much as dad. And I had this belief that that was the way it was. And guess what? That happened, and I created that reality for myself. But as soon as that broke free, that didn't happen anymore. So really, we're inviting women to come and talk about that, the guilt of being a mom and a provider, a wife, and going to the grocery store and spending money and feeling bad about it. And we're just having a real conversation. We're inviting women to come, and it's a very conversational format. And we're encouraging women to start this conversation so we can start making positive change first within ourselves, then in our homes, and then our communities, and then, if we're lucky, the world. So that's what we're encouraging women to do. And we're doing it here locally, but we're also doing it online if women will have us.
Wow. That's incredible. Like starting with yourself and then moving forward and expanding it to others. And I think just having, we know that we're talking about collaboration before too, collaborating, having that accountability partner, getting together with other people that are going through the same thing as what you're going through, and knowing that it's okay to have a negative relationship that you're going to change, or that, it's okay to be the stay-at-home mom if that is what that is your wealth. That's your wealth. If that's what is incredible to you, that's your wealth, then it's okay. Like, don't feel guilty about things. And I think that guilt factor is probably something that needs to be addressed more frequently. So I love that you're doing this. How do people find out more about the Freedom Tour?
So you can join us at .org/freedom tour. And that is our homepage for the tour. We have blog posts, videos, testimonials from people who have come. I think we've got almost 20 videos now of real people who have come. We even have one in Spanish. And we're encouraging women to come, find out what it takes to become a community organizer. And these are women who are inviting us into their businesses or their homes to talk to their friends, their family, their clients, find out what we're doing, the impact that we're making, get some copies of the book, share them with your friends, and just start this conversation, because just having the courage to talk about how you think and feel about money is the very beginning to something beautiful.
Wonderful. And I just actually put that up into the comments area as well for people to access.
Great. Thank you.
You're very welcome. So when does the money formula come out, and where can people find it? More about the book. I'm sorry.
Well, the money formula is already out, and it is on everywhere books are sold, and we're working on getting into brick and mortar, but we're already here locally in stores in North County, Soulscape, and also a little store called Lotus Moon and Vista. And we are a WSA publishing book. Yay. And very proud to be. And it's been a great honor to create this book with WSA Publishing and order it on Cabo, on Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, Amazon. We hit #1 for Knowledge Capital and the number 15 for Money Management. So it's been great. And so find us. And eventually this coming year, we're going to be putting in an Audible book. So yay.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, everybody's always en route somewhere and being able to listen. And people access information differently too, right? It's different.
Yes.
Reading it versus hearing it. I think that's really important.
Exactly.
It's going to have a huge effect. Mm-hmm. Yes, and WSA is thrilled that you are a WSA published author. We're very excited for you and with you. So thank you very much for being a part of that.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, no, it's so exciting. So I will put that link up in a little bit as well, so people can go grab your book, but you can go look it up too, right? So then you can find out what works best for you, especially if you're doing like a Kindle version or a Kobo version or so forth. So
right.
Wonderful. So last question, how can viewers connect with you? And I also think you have an offer that you want us to share today.
Yes, I do. And you can always connect with me on social media, on Facebook, official Leslie Inc. on Facebook. We're at Leslie Inc. on Instagram. You can sign up for our happiness newsletter on our website, leslieinc.org. We have a blog, we have YouTube, we have a podcast, the State of Happiness podcast. It's everywhere where podcasts are. And if you are here and you want to find out, how can I start breaking through those limiting beliefs about money? I have a free masterclass, and it starts as soon as you sign up. And it's called How to Break Through the 5 Limiting Beliefs You Didn't Know You Had About Money That Are Costing You Money. So you can sign up for that, and it's a free course. There's no obligation. Sign up. I teach you one of my techniques, and learn more about the Money Formula, the Money Formula Academy, which is our online program for the book. And just start to break through how you think and feel about money by breaking free of some of these limiting beliefs. And that's a free 40-minute webinar at no cost, no obligation.
Wonderful. And I put that up as well, so people can go and grab that information and find out what it is that they didn't know their limiting beliefs might be, right?
Oh, well, I tell a story in there of how I helped a client get rid of $170,000 of debt in a week. And it's a true story. So check it out, sign up for it. It's again, free, no obligation, and it's helpful and it's useful. So find out that story and see how it works for you.
Well, I love that you're sharing stories in your teachings too, because, Women Speakers Association always says that, every woman has a story to share, and each of us have a story people can pull things from. They can relate. Then you're building relationships by sharing the stories. So yes. Thank you for putting it in that format that is easy to digest. Maybe not easy to say for me, but in such a way that it's not going to scare people away. It's going to make people kind of like really embrace it and feel connected and take that next step on their money journey.
Yes, absolutely. My mother has a very limited education. Again, she was a former child prostitute and she had to do it to survive. And you know, she read it and she was like, I understand this. It makes sense to me. So, from someone who has a very limited level of education and literacy to get it and to break through and to understand it, I think it's really available to anyone, no matter where you are, your walk of life. And it's simple and it's less than 3 hours to read, and it's just a tool to help you begin to change how you think and feel about money. And whether or not you ever do coaching with me or anything else, I've got a ton of free resources. The Happiness Dex app on Apple iTunes and on Apple Store and the Android Store, ton of free resources. Take them, please have them. And if you read the money formula, I just know it will change your life. Just take a chance on you.
Awesome. Thank you again, Leslie. It was a thrill to have you as a guest, and I'm definitely going to take some time and read your book over the holidays too, because I think it's something that it's a great time right now to set yourself up for a successful, happy, and wealthy as you want to be 2019.
That's right. Make it your New Year's resolution to get more of what you love. Because for me, that's what the true definition of wealth is.
Yes. Wonderful. Thank you so much again. And to everybody that has joined us right now, thank you so much for joining us. And if you are listening in, or if you're listening in, please go ahead and share this afterwards too. We would love to, you probably know somebody in your life that could read this book and find out a little bit more, or just have that aha moment, because I think that every time we have a conversation like that, you're going to pull just even one aha is going to make a difference and set you up to be the successful, happy person that we all should be.
Yes, absolutely. We all know somebody who's a compulsive spender or something. So send it to your friend, tag them, yeah. Let them know.
All right. Have a great day, everybody. And thank you again, Leslie, for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you, Tracey.
You're welcome.